Hey, this ain't a drill. Only time I plan is on the field. And when I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. And you know we bout to eat this a fast meal. I gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. 716 make them pay me some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman, so you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing it. Only listen to Keyshawn and they talk about the Bills dominating on the field. All our players got them skills. Buffalo don't make a kill when we talk about the Bills. Dominating on the field, and our players got them skills. Buffalo won't make a kill.
What's going on? Welcome back to another live episode of the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I am your co-host, Aramis.
40 Keys. What's going on, people?
40 Keys in the hit house. Listen. This show, man, this thing been a week long coming, and we are here right on time. I got some real juice for y'all. I talked to my source, well, a couple of sources, and I got a new story on Sean McDermott that I want to share with y'all. That'll come later on in the episode. But listen, first things first. What's going on, brother? How was your weekend?
Hey, weekend was good.
Yeah.
You know, it's fun having 6 adults packed into an Explorer as we waited for food.
It felt pretty spacious in there.
That was weird, right?
Not gonna lie.
You walked, I was like, hop in. Hop on in, y'all.
Yeah, I was like, where's Mac? Open the window, there they go right there.
Right there?
Yeah, just chilling. They had this little grin on their faces. The window opens.
It was just serene.
Yeah, it was cool.
The dark inside just makes you feel comfortable and relaxed. But yeah, you know, what we're talking about is we were going to what may be the best wing spot in Buffalo these days.
Man, listen. That might be all the way right. Best wings I've ever had in my life. I know that for sure.
For you guys that don't know, we're talking about Elmo's. Elmo's over on Millersport. Now, this isn't a plug unless you want it to be, so let them know who sent you. But yeah, I mean, you're talking about it's a little divey bar. We had to wait a while to get in there because we had 6 people, but it's worth the wait. You know, it's worth the wait if you have a little bit of time. Get you some wings, double dip them, and enjoy.
Yeah. Listen, Elmo's is the spot. If you in Buffalo, I don't even know if we should be pushing them like that.
It's okay.
But I'm just going to say it. Best wings I ever had in my life, man. Elmo's, man.
And I eat a lot of wings.
Yeah.
I eat a whole lot of wings.
Yes, you do. But yeah, great spot. Okay, so do you mind if we start with the rule changes and stuff like that? The proposals?
Go ahead, because I didn't even look at them because I didn't know if you were going to talk about them or not.
Okay, very, very interesting stuff. Let me go ahead and pull this up here. Hold on. So basically there were a series of rule change proposals, and it's on ESPN. Now they trying not to show it to me. What is going on here? Okay, well,
I know about the outlaw, the tush push.
Yeah.
The one that was interesting to me was the no first down for defensive holding. And I guess it was a defensive pass interference as well. I'm not sure if it was pass interference. I know defensive holding, they were trying to get that to not be an automatic first down. So I don't know if you looked it up, is it ever going to be a first down if it's 5 yards? If it's, you know, if down in distance is 5 yards, is it a first down or is it just automatic replay it down? In which case, do we walk down the field on 2nd and 5 the whole time? Do we just keep walking? I don't understand how, you know, we had 2nd and 5 on the 12, now 2nd and 5 on the 17, and you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's how it's going to do it, but yeah, I know, you know, the tush push deal, whatever. I mean,
yeah, Green Bay proposing that one when they can't even do it right.
Yeah, I mean, we're worried about safety, and I think McDermott did say he didn't like it. You know, he doesn't like the tush push, but
he loved it in the AFC Championship game.
Well, somebody did because it didn't work.
Right.
But what I will say is I like the fact that they went away from it during the regular season. Got James Cook touchdown after touchdown after touchdown after touchdown.
You might not like me after today.
It's fine.
Okay,
it's
fair enough. So you covered the one by Detroit.
As best I could.
So they want to eliminate an automatic first down as a penalty for imposed. As a penalty imposed for defensive holding and illegal contact. Green Bay, we went over that one. Philly, they want to align the postseason and regular season overtime rules by granting both teams an opportunity to possess the ball regardless of the outcome of the first possession, subject to a 15-minute overtime period in the regular season. So basically, everything playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Every game, everything playoffs. What do you think? What do you think that does to regular season football from a quality standpoint? Because if you do that for the regular season, I mean, the playoffs. Do you think that changes the quality of playoff games because the rules are the same? Do you think that makes teams better in those situations? If there is a tie game at the end or something like that, you think teams would be more prepared? You think this is better for the league or worse?
No, I mean, the tush push deal, that's health and safety protocols. That's what they're worried about. The automatic first downs, they call too many illegal holdings. So they're like, why is it always, if it's first and 10 or third and 10, and why are we getting automatic first downs on illegal holding when the hold is just like a unintentional grab, if you will? For 7 yards, why is it that's going to change the course of the game? So I think that's what they're looking at more so than just saying, we don't like the rule just because it sucks, which it kind of does. But, to the overtime point, is that the Hasselbeck rule when they played, was it Seattle versus Green Bay? Where they said, we're going to take the ball, we're going to win. And Al Harris picked it off and ran into a pick six.
No.
We're going to win. Like, okay, dude, you bombastic with that one.
This is actually known as the Josh Allen rule. They just want to extend it from the playoffs into
right. Yeah. The Josh Allen rule, and that was what, when it was, as long as it's a field goal, you get the ball.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why they're doing it. I guess they just want to increase the competitive nature of the game.
I mean, does it do that to you, or is it just
none of this does?
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't get caught up in the semantics because I'm like, yo, just play football or whatever the sport of choice is.
Basically. So bylaw proposals. Detroit wants to amend the current playoff seeding format to allow wild card teams to be seeded higher than division champions.
I like that.
If the wild card team has a better regular season record. I love that.
I like that.
Yeah, because and we're seeing this a lot now recently where a division winner will be 9-7 or something like that, and they'll have to play Minnesota or something like that, who was they won 14 games last year.
The New Orleans Saints, when they were 7-9 and won the division.
Yeah. So I mean, I think this is where college football is going to end up in terms of when they add teams and stuff like that. Everything is going to be based off record. And I think it should. Mm-hmm. If you're a better team, you deserve better, playoff seeding in general. So, I
like how the WNBA does it. Honestly, I obviously there's not enough teams to really say, but they do it where they don't have an East and West. They just go seeding.
Yeah.
So it's 1 through whatever the case may be, and so on and so forth. But maybe that'll come later. I don't know.
Yeah. What's going on, Bully? What's going on, Billy D? What's going on, Roy? He said, what's with the picture-in-picture flashing?
Oh, yeah. I saw it flash a couple of times.
Did it really?
Yeah. It wasn't crazy. It just blinked real quick.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully it doesn't do any more of that, but that might be.
It's because we're electric, Roy.
Yeah.
We're electric.
Yeah, it might be some more stuff to consider.
And Billy D, Colt 45 Williams.
Right. Spence says, reminds me back in the day where we had the antennas for the TV and had to adjust it to get a better picture.
Yep. When you had the pliers, and you're just like, just a little bit more, just to the right. Oh, you missed it.
I could say that to y'all. Like, it's not me, it's you. It's yo. There it is. There it is again. It just flashed again.
You saw it.
Yeah, I did see it.
You see it.
It might be subliminal messaging. Watch more of us.
Right. Smoke.
Yeah. It just definitely wasn't doing that last week. I'll have to take a look at the equipment and get that fixed up.
Yeah, spinning Roy. That's the part. That's what I'm talking about. You said at Roy, what about when it's 3rd and 25 and they call a hold on a 10-yard pass and it's automatic first? That's what I'm talking about. That's the stuff they're trying to get rid of.
Yeah, but I mean, so here's the other parts of that though. If you take that away as a defensive player, it's 3rd and 25. I'm only giving up 10 yards. I'll take it. I'm gonna hold you. I'm gonna hold you at least twice because I know it's a 50-50 chance on that getting called. They're not gonna call it back to back.
Well, they got to revamp. They got to revamp the rules or what constitutes to hold them, because I mean they can call it on pretty much every play.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. If you get in the way with being sloppy, and in college, that's what you do all the time. That's why you don't see as many big plays or really big plays. There's nobody in the view. You don't see anybody do a Stephon Diggs the catch, go up on somebody, break a tackle, because the defense is trained. If it's past 15 yards, just grab him and hold him, because it's only 15 yards in college.
Exactly.
No matter where you throw the ball, 45 yards downfield, 15 yards. That's it. So it's a defensive ploy. So I think that they need to revamp. Billy D said he's going to send us a retirement video where he's going to give a speech just like this. If this doesn't work, I'm going on the radio, man.
Yeah, I need to see it. I definitely need to see this.
Maybe me and Billy D can do a Quiet Storm show on Waffle or something. I don't know. If he has the voice for it, let's do it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I might have to call Rich, man. This thing is doing it again. So okay, so for you tech heads out there, if you know anything about tech, like basically my issue was there was too much power going into the port where I had them both plugged in at. So I moved. Rich came in, took a look at everything, and moved the cord from one port to another that's supposed to be directly connected to the motherboard, something like that. And it was supposed to have solved the issue. It seems like maybe it might be time for a computer upgrade.
You messed up, because look at your thumbnail. What does it say? Sean's Way or something like that?
No, it says whatever the thumbnail says Sean's Way.
Yeah, you pissed him off.
That might be what it is.
That is. You pissed him off.
So okay.
He's like, that won't be happening today.
To be clear, if what I think is gonna happen after I give out this news happens, it'll be confirmation that they listen to this show and they purposely do things to spite us.
Yes.
Wait, I promise you'll get it when we talk about it.
All and guess what? I don't know either. So I'm gonna be hearing it just like you guys.
Right.
We were eating wings. He's like, yo, I got this juice for you. I can't tell you, yo. I'm like,
I had to hold it because I need the live reaction.
I mean, when you said you had Cajun barbecue wings in front of me, you could have said whatever you wanted at that point. You could have said my mom wasn't my mom. I wouldn't have heard you because those wings was happening.
Yo, the quesadillas was live too, man.
Yeah, and that's whatever Stina had. That she said, I gotta go back and get that. I said, okay, well,
yeah.
I don't know what
she had. She had a wrap.
It was like this big.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yep. Okay. So last but not least, Detroit, they want to exclude from the 90-player limit a player placed on injured reserve before or on the day of roster reduction to 53 players, unless such player is designated for return. So basically, give them
the Reed Ferguson rule. Cool. Basically, let's stop this nonsense, this parking lot BS, and just say, you know what, Reed. And the funny thing is, he just signed a contract extension, right? Or he just resigned. Yeah. So you're gonna cut him and then bring him back,
right?
I want to see what the contract looks like. What's the verbiage in this contract? So we're going to cut you on the first day, but you're coming back, so don't go nowhere. You're going to
subject to one singular cut.
We can cut you once every year.
Right. Oh my gosh! All right. What you got? What you got? Stuff we heard.
Oh man, I got my note turned on my computer, so let's see. It won't download. So. Okay. Let's see. So the Bills met with Landon Jackson for 8-9 times, and between his pro day and now, or the combine and now, actually.
Who met with him?
The Bills.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So what exactly are you doing here? What is that?
Landon Jackson is the pass rusher, right?
That's a defensive. Well, I wouldn't call him pass rusher. He's a defensive end from. He's a defensive end. He's more of a Russo. He's the guy who said if you don't have. No, it ain't me. Okay, I was making sure. If you don't have Rousseau, you want Landon Jackson, but we have Rousseau.
Right.
So they were surmising on the radio earlier that it was a smoke screen. This is an elaborate smoke screen. I'm like, yo, what the hell? 8 times? They get the point. The league knows that you like this guy or you don't like him. You think that's who you're going to get.
Right.
But newsflash, guess what? I saw Landon Jackson going 20 seconds, so he ain't going to make it to you guys. So, but then they're like, they're saying, well, maybe they're going to get to the point where they outsmart somebody and that team leapfrogs the Bills because they really want Landon Jackson, and Bills say, that's not who we wanted anyway. We wanted somebody else. So I hate the game. I really do. If I was a GM or something, I don't think I even listen to the noise. I don't care who's talking to who. I know who I want. I got a list of my possibles and a list of my dream scenarios. That's how I would do it. If I say, I have a first round grade on 15 guys, 16 guys, and I'm drafting 27. Okay. I'll fall in love with those 15, 16 guys I got, but I'm going to look at the back half of the first round, or even the early second, because chances are they're going to be there. And if they're not, that means they jump somebody and now you can play again. But I mean, the Bills think, especially if they put too much thought in who they're meeting with this person, they really like that person, they want to visit that. I don't care.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's all about your scouting. You got to lean on your scouting department. Right. And McDermott and Bean don't have time to be talking to these guys.
McDermott feels like he knows everything. So
I mean, our people would tell us that we're the same,
Yeah, the idea that this team can't seem to have found a real pass rusher in the draft anywhere in 9 years. I mean, how many guys have we seen come up in the last 9 years?
I told you what it is. It is. This is where I am with it. When I talk to my friend and he's like, "Yo, Key, why can't we do this?" I'm like, "Dude, we can. That's not what they want, though." So I don't even think at this point in time, and that's why I'm not mad anymore, because now I'm understanding this is their vision. They have this vision that's not my vision, and it's okay. I don't have to like it.
No, it's really not okay though.
But see,
it's like the whole point of having a defensive line is being able to get pressure on the quarterback.
Yes, but see, what I'm saying is they think this is how they're going to do it. So
okay,
in my mind, I'm getting the bendy guy. I'm getting the hoss in the middle, the 2 and the 1 tech, the 0 tech, whatever, 3 tech, and give me a Russo on the other side, and I'm good to go. But no, they want to go ahead and get 2 run stuffers on the outside. They get a smallish D tackle. They get, Epinesa, who they say they can move inside, outside with Russo, but they never really do it. So they draft guys to be creative, but they're never creative when it comes down to it, which likens to what I was talking to my friend. Me and my friend were having a knockdown drag out. If you're listening, I know you are, but about the roles, why college football, what's the disparity in college football teams, and why is it that UBs can't be looked at as Penn States and stuff like that? And I said there's something called star recruiting. And he said, well, if you got fast guys, you should be good. I said, well, it don't work that way, because UB's D tackles are 6'2", 290, whereas, Penn State, Alabama, their D tackles are 320, 330, 340. Right. Their wide receivers are running 4.4s, but they're 6'3". UB's 6'3" guys are running 4.7s. Right. And so what I mean by this is the Bills the Bulls play against teams in weeks 0 through 3 for those teams to tune up. That's why they always go to Ohio State. That's why they always go to Iowa. Why they go to Missouri, because they're getting paid $700,000-$800,000 to play this team and get destroyed. And that's how they get through the rest of the year. Wow. See, when they play Alabama, they know they're going to lose, but they get it's a payday. So when Holy Cross comes to UB, they know they're going to make $200,000-$300,000 from us. So that's how it works. But when he was like, so how come we were close to Penn State? I was like, we really weren't. He said, Key, until the third quarter, I said, dude, it's a tune-up game. Yeah. I said, they're trying stuff to see if it works. Yep. And then after halftime, they came and said 38-0 in the second half. They turned the switch. It was over. And then he talked about, we talked about the Ohio State
of the cheeks.
I'm kind of going through this because I know he's watching. He's going to give me ish later. I know you are. So, we're going to talk about that in a minute, Steve. Yes. But he goes on to talk about the Khalil Mack game against Ohio State. I said, it wasn't close. He said it was. I said it was 40-20. I said, so what if Khalil Mack didn't have 2.5 sacks and a pick six? Then what? How close would it have been? He said, but what if Norwood would have missed the kick in the Super Bowl or made the kick? I said, it's 2 different things. He said, how? I said, you're looking at the UB game in a vacuum, but you're looking at the Norwood kick in just a flip of the actuality. I said, let's add a caveat to the Bills Super Bowl game and say, okay, what if we gave the Giants another minute after that kick? We made the kick and give them a minute. Mm-hmm. Are we guaranteed to win the game? No. So that's what I'm saying. You speak in actualities when you want, but when you look at the Bills, is a long-winded way of me saying, when you look at the Bills and how they built their defensive line, Ed Oliver they're trying it out with Ed Oliver as the smallest defensive tackle. But where's Rousseau and Epinesa when they said they're creative? They can put them inside, outside. Why don't they do it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So everything continues to fold into this point. It really does.
Rebuke it. Rebuke it.
It's a sell job when we draft these guys and we get them in here so that fans fall in love with these guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Think of what would happen for the Bills if they didn't do any of this, fluff stuff and prance around the higher ranked rookies that were drafted in the first and second round. Like, imagine how we would perceive these players if they weren't, shown around town and put in front of us and painted into a picture of, look at this, cool new toy we just got. You know what I'm saying? I think people would be, they would think a little bit more critically about the player himself if he weren't marketed to us in that way.
You know what I liken that to? And this is not gonna be long, I promise. I liken it to when you give a 10-year-old a hover round.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cool new toy, but I have no clue how to use it.
Yeah,
that's what it is. It's cool, it's exciting, but you get on it, you're not going to use it, right? So what's the point of even having it?
Right.
And that's what it is when you get Von Millers and people like that. You don't know how to use it correctly.
Yeah.
So what's the point?
Yeah. I don't think I can avoid this any longer. I just need to get this out of my system.
Good Lord. Okay, Laura, here it comes. You ready?
Yeah.
Billy D. Yes. Stop blowing smoke up the people's butts.
Right. That's exactly what it is. All right. Here it is, folks. I think we got enough people in here where I can break this news. So anyway, I had a couple of conversations towards the end of last week. And it was revealed to me that the strength and conditioning coach, what's his name? Ciano?
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, Ciano actually did not get fired, which take a breath, because I know what the reports say. Take a breath, right? Because the reports also said that Leslie Frazier was taking a year off, right? That didn't actually happen. So what I found out is that Ciano was actually not fired, right? What he said specifically was he can't stand Sean McDermott. He also then went on to say that everybody, he said Sean McDermott was a pain in his
patootie,
ASS.
Yes.
Right? But then he also goes to say that that's how just about everybody in the building feels about Sean McDermott. Right. And he then went on to say that the only reason that there aren't, 100 more people jumping ship is because they're winning all these games. Right. And I think we've provided enough evidence on this show to show people that the Bills are winning games because of Josh Allen, not because of Sean McDermott. The defense doesn't win us very many games. In fact, they have only won us one playoff game, the Ravens game back in 2020. Right. So all of this is pointing to everything that the Tyler Dunn report brought out in terms of the culture that Sean instills in the building, the micromanaging, the strict oversight of, what guys are doing with their free time and trying to, get players to spy on other players and stuff like that. Like, that stuff is still happening. He's driving coaches and players crazy. Right. Now, all of that provides clarity, and it also provides credence to when Chad Hall left. And we sat here on the show and we talked about, man, that's a lateral movement. Why would he take the same job somewhere else? It's not a step up. He's here with the Bills. He's playing, he's working around Josh Allen and we're winning games. Why leave? Well, Ciano just told you. He's a pain in everybody's ass. You know what I'm saying? When you're dealing with that kind of boss at the workplace, and you get people, whole departments, like whole divisions of people just quit that we don't even hear about because they work in the building behind the scenes, right? But they've had an offensive coordinator get pissed off and leave because Sean wouldn't back off. Right. We've had a wide receivers coach leave. We've had a strength and conditioning coach leave, and I mean, Smiley was fired for what? For Sean's friend. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like the idea. Excuse me. The idea that Sean McDermott is driving his staff insane behind the scenes. I mean, how do you continue to get? How can I say that? How do you continue to get better in the building if the best people you have are leaving? Shiano was with the team, what, 16 years?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And who else have they brought in as a coach that's been better than any of the guys that have left? Frazier, we've never had anybody in the building better than him. I'm sorry, Bobby Babich, he's still growing, but he's not there. Right? Who have we had in the building better than Brian Daboll in terms of offensive performance? I get that Josh Allen won an MVP under Joe Brady, but the numbers for their offense are not better than Brian Daboll's.
I mean, let's call it, keep it a buck. The Joe Brady offense is better only because of James Cook. That's the only thing, is that he can run. Now, if you had, I'm sorry, Tommy, if you're in here, I don't mean to do that to you, but if you had Singletary right now, we wouldn't be having this conversation. The threat of James Cook being there with Josh Allen to let Josh Allen do whatever he was going to do. And the threat of Josh Allen doing whatever he does to let James Cook do, it's a symbiotic relationship. So, I mean, when you're talking about, no, Roy, it's not going to be an issue on McDermott episode. I don't think we're just in there.
Right.
But no, I think, when it comes to McDermott, none of this even matters until the players that matter say something, and there's not enough players that matter. You got James Cook, who's holding out for $15 million. That's one.
Mm-hmm.
You got, who else? Deion Dawkins, who just loves Buffalo, so he's 30 years old. What's he care?
Right.
And that's nothing on him, but what's he care? He's at the twilight end of his career.
Exactly.
Josh Allen is the only one that can say anything, and he's not. So, like I said in the last episode, this is why Josh Allen, and they're lucky they have him, not because he's good, but because he don't say nothing.
Yep. I mean, imagine if this was Aaron Rodgers.
I was just gonna say Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, people like that. Yeah.
They would speak up. They would have something to say. You can go back to having a guy like Peyton Manning here. Peyton Manning wouldn't put up with this.
No.
Like Peyton Manning was the guy who got the head coach out of Indy and got Tony Dungy in there.
He'd be like, you said, okay, cover right. Okay, hell with that. Okay, that's what we're gonna do.
Right, exactly. So the idea, I think it comes down to this. When you realize that as a coaching staff, we have nothing but yes men in the building.
Mm-hmm.
We have a bunch of guys who are too young to stand up and say anything to Sean McDermott. Even Brandon Beane, this is his first GM job.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he can get up and stand up and say something. Everybody else who had the ability to stand up and say something did.
And the thing is, Brandon Beane can get up and say something. He's just like Josh. To me, he's just like Josh. He's talented at what he does. He needs to know his limitations because he's not a good talent evaluator.
Right.
But at the same time, I think Brandon Beane has put enough on paper to say, "Oh, you firing me at Buffalo? Guess what? I can go somewhere else because they want me. They see what I do with numbers. They see what I do with building team. They'll give me full autonomy.
Right.
Watch what happens." Tommy said, "I don't think Cromer's a yes man. No, as long
Cromer's
as Cromer,
another one of those Josh Allen guys.
As long as Cromer doesn't have a beach chair around him, he's okay.
Right, exactly.
He has a beach chair. Yeah. Everything changes."
I mean, Tommy says maybe the only guy on the coaching staff that I don't think would be a yes. Well, so there's a difference between being a yes man and being like Josh Allen and just putting up with it. You know what I'm saying? Because that portion of the non-football stuff is not as big in Josh's mind, I don't think. Right? But what makes it tough is Josh will never find out what it's like to see football without himself. You know what I'm saying? He's too good for the team to be bad. So he'll never be able to see what it's like to have better players because they don't need to get better players. Think about who we got this year. Who was paying Josh Palmer what we paid him?
Take your pick. Outside of Ty Johnson, take your pick. Who was paying any of them what we paid him?
Right. Who was paying Joey Bosa what we paid him? Like that to me. So what I did is I went back and I really just thought real hard about like the time we thought we were getting DeAndre Hopkins, the time that we thought we were getting OBJ in the building, I mean, look at what they had to do to give Von Miller in the building. Mm-hmm. They had to give him the most outrageous contract ever given to a 32-year-old ever, right? And all of that came rushing back to my mind when I started to think about all the things that this culture may have cost us. Mm-hmm. Right? To the degree now where we now have evidence to show why superstar players don't want to come here. It's not, and again, Sean McDermott is a good defensive mind, right? What the issue is it's the perception on players that they have, the way that they treat players, and kind of keep players in their place, so to speak, by not, propping them up, by not empowering them, by not giving them the opportunity to be, greater than the man next to them or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like they're trying to keep everything just, culture based. Do your 1/11th, no more than
some of parts. They doing some
right.
parts. Yeah.
Right. So that culture as a superstar player, if I hear that, matter of fact, that drives me to this next point that I want to get to, because did you hear DK Metcalf on the Get God Pod? No. So I want to play this clip. And this is DK Metcalf talking about a time where he went to the sideline and got on the phone and was talking to the offensive coordinator, and just listen to what he says. So what that speaks to is a mindset that guys like DK Metcalf, who are known playmakers, have, right? The idea that this guy he knows the defensive player he's going against. He knows what to expect. He tries to help his team by going to the coach and saying, look, this is what they're doing. This is what we got to do to set these things up.
They couldn't hear it.
They couldn't hear it at all?
They couldn't hear it.
You got to be kidding me. All right, I'll explain it. So basically, this is ridiculous.
It's a moment of silence.
Yeah, that was a very long moment of silence. I appreciate y'all patience. So basically, DK Metcalf was talking about they were playing the 49ers, right? And it was 3rd and 4, and he knew from watching tape earlier in the week that they the corner that he's playing against likes to sit on the shorter routes, especially in short down and distance situations. They'll do like the Chiefs do and just sit at the sticks. Well, anyway, they get to 3rd and 4. They snap the ball. They run the play, and the play that was called is all hitches. Now, hitches are just you run up 5 yards, 7 yards, 8 yards, whatever, and you just stop and turn around, and the ball should be there as soon as you turn around. That's just a regular standard hitch route. Now, the hitch routes that were called, they were all covered, and they ended up having to come off the field on after they failed on that down to get a first down. Well, DK Metcalf asked for the phone to call up to the offensive coordinator to say, hey, we got to set some things up. We got to run past these guys to make them believe we're going to go deep if we want them to back off of these hitch routes that you're calling. Well, apparently after that all happened and he had that communication with the offensive coordinator, they kind of just shut him out of the, you know, pregame or, you know, like the game planning stuff that they used to do earlier in the week where DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett would, you know, send in the stuff that they like, you know, in terms of what they can do against the defense. And the point of me bringing that up is to kind of just show like it's not always the perspective of, you know, the coaches know best. Like a coach is a coach to push the players and empower the players and encourage the players and get them to, you know, be better in every way possible. That doesn't necessarily mean that that a coach knows everything that there is to know, you know, at all, really at all. Like I could go in and be, you know, an offensive coordinator and I could see some things that might work. That doesn't mean I know as much as Brian Daboll knows. It doesn't mean I know as much as Andy Reid knows, right? And even Andy Reid and Brian Daboll would tell you, I don't know everything there is to know. So the idea is if you are objective as a coach, if you understand that there are things to learn, there are things to develop in, there's no way that you can propagate a culture that rips away opportunities like that from a DK Metcalf, rip away an opportunity like that from a Josh Allen to be the guy that makes things happen. Like, I get it. Josh won an MVP this year, but so much of what he does that scares the life out of teams, he didn't have to do this year. Right? And so the idea for me is, look, if we want to believe the coaching staff when they say, well, we need playmakers, we need blue chippers, and we look at the moves that they made, and we look at this report that I got from Ciano, not directly from him, but from people connected to him.
If you would have got it from him,
yeah, we want to do a slam piece on Sean McDermott, and Ciano's our guest.
And Jim Manos too. Bring them both.
Yeah. Oh man, it really bothers me to think that we're going to be stuck with this until Josh is gone. That is the part that scares me the most, is that it's literally going to take Josh not being here for an extended period of time for people to realize what the head coach is doing is really not for the benefit of the team. It's for the benefit of what he wants to see on a daily basis in the building. That's really what it is. So look, if what I'm saying bothers you, this show may not be for you. This show is for the critically thinking fan. We like to look at all the information presented and take an objective, you know, truthful approach to things. And this to me is like the nail in the coffin in terms of ever believing that McDermott could turn it around. I mean, literally, I spent most of the season this past season thinking that Sean was growing and developing and changing, and here we have a guy leaving after the season because Sean McDermott is a pain in his ass, and just about all the other, you know, staff people in the building who all have less tenure in the NFL than Sean McDermott does have to put up with it. They have to. Where are they gonna go? Who's going to hire him? Who even knows they exist in the league?
No, if I was them, I would definitely be looking at college.
Well, yeah, and don't be surprised if that starts to happen. But again, the as it was stated, the reason that these guys stick around is because they win in games.
Right, but if you're that unhappy, I mean, at this point in time, you know, I have a limited care for how much you love what you do. You know, I mean, it's limited because we all work. We all. I don't know how many guys in the comments, if you do raise your hand, how many of you love your job, you lay your life down for your job. It's the place you need to be every day, all day, and you want to be there. You know, so I mean, we don't make the, what do they make? $300,000-$400,000, most of them.
Mm-hmm.
But we still got to do it because under this regime, our jobs are on the line. They've shown us time and time again we can be replaced. So when you're talking about he's a pain in the butt, I don't want to be here, then go. But see, the thing is, if you go, now it's time for McDermott to really start coaching. If you go, now it's time for Bean to really start not relying on the knowledge that you had in the office. And you got to bring up Babbage's and Brady's and Les Dan's, whatever the special teams coach is. Yeah. No, Spin, this is not an entire show that's a hit on McD. Just some of it. But no, but I really think that when people talk about not wanting to be here and something, I don't care about that part. What I do care about is the stuff we can control, the stuff that we see them do in terms of paying people obscene amounts of money for nothing. Ogunjobi. You knew he was getting suspended. It wasn't a shot because he didn't put pen to paper, even when the numbers came out. You could have backed out of it. So you give him $8 million. Oh, we're gonna fix it for I don't care. He was never worth $8 million, like you said about Bosa. He was never worth 12. Why did he come to Buffalo? Because once again, what was it? The 49ers offered him 10, and who was it offered him 7?
I don't know.
That's his market. That's why he came to Buffalo, because we said we'll give you 12.
Exactly. When
his brother's team, who he wanted to go to, his brother wanted him, and that's their star player. Yep. Well, one of said, "Nah, we're going to give you 10." We're thinking that's a handout. Right. Buffalo said, "You want 12? Done. Come on over."
Right.
And I mean, I don't know how much I'm sorry, Bosa, but I don't know how much I can listen to him talk. Please only put him on the mic. Don't put him on the mic. So yeah, I was like being here. No, get out of here, dude. Stop. It goes from everybody's still mad as Max going. You can't replace Mac's personality with that. It don't care what Mac did on the field. It's like everybody's gonna hate that because of that. So yeah. I mean, I think really when it comes down to, like you said, and I think somebody in here said I can't scroll that anymore, but somebody did mention we can't pay James Cook. I think it was Walter. We can't pay James Cook what he wants, but we can pay defensive ends $12 million for rotational duties. I think I believe he said it up higher, but doesn't matter. I think I quoted it pretty well, which is true, because he said something to the effect of 50%. Bosa's going to play 50% of defensive end snaps, where Cook plays 46% of running back snaps. Mm-hmm. Does he have to play 46%, or is that what you want him to do because you want this rotation? As we saw in the championship game, should Cook have played more? Yes, he should have. But you decided you didn't want to do that. So those numbers are skewed. Everybody talks about how he's not worth it but see, that's what McDermott wants. And no, Spin, this is still not a slant on, but admit it, Spin, admit it. Why else would James Cook play less than 50% of the snap? I don't care about run block. I already disproved that. I disproved that with Derrick Henry's, with Saquon Barkley. I've disproved none of them can pass block. James Cook had the best pass blocking PFF score on his team for running backs. Say something else. Anybody wants to. Tell me, I watched the snaps. Guess what? James Cook wasn't even. I promise you, I watched James Cook's all his snaps in passing plays. You know what he was? He was the guy that like chips and goes out for the flat spin. He didn't stay in the back and block. That was never his job. Maybe 3 times.
Right.
So where are we getting this narrative that he sucks at pass blocking? No, they just didn't want him on the field, which is fine. But we can't use it as a justification that he can't be paid like a real running back. And I know you said that you're going to disprove it. And I looked at running backs this year, and I'm not worried about them. Everybody's now talking about Travion Henderson. Mm-hmm. Don't care, because guess what? Travion Henderson, this person says he can pass block. This person says he can't pass block. But I watched the tape. Whatever. He's okay. Yeah. If you have to see, when it comes to running backs, I'm not rushing for a running back this year, because guess what? Next year is just as good.
Okay, well, before we get too much into that, I want to back up and finish this Sean McDermott point real quick. No,
My bad. Good. I'm a swig.
I'm preach. Roy says, didn't McDermott turn it around after the drought years? I hope you're trolling. I hope that's what that is. Look, truth be told, Sean McDermott created a change in mindset and a change in approach from what Rex Ryan was doing. But let's be very real about something.
Okay, Spin, I got you. Go ahead.
They both did the same thing with the same quarterback. Like Rex Ryan went 9-7 with Tyrod Taylor. So did Sean McDermott. They both did the same thing with the same quarterback and the same team.
You had to say that name, huh?
I'm sorry.
This is what it is. Could have said 5 like everybody else. No, I'm joking. Go ahead.
Like,
Your point is taken.
Yeah, like I haven't presented this point.
I forgot he had a mic.
I did too. I presented this. Like people got to rewind my eyes when that happened because my eyes lit up real bit. Like, who the hell is that?
You're talking in 2 voices now. How?
Exactly. No, but like the point I'm trying to get to is that you can't point to one specific thing that Sean McDermott did better than Rex Ryan. It was just a different approach. The only difference between the two teams is the Bills were led into the playoffs by another team, and Rex Ryan's team wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, we had a chance with Rex Ryan at the end of the season to make it. If I think we needed like 2 teams to lose and another one to tie or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And then Rex's team would have made it.
Mm-hmm.
So
we were close, yeah.
Right. So really, that's the difference between the job that Sean McDermott did and every other drought coach. How many times did we get to the end of the season and be like, man, we just need this one team to lose. If they lose, and we can do it. Or if the Patriots just take an L in this last game, we can get in. We can sneak in.
There weren't a lot of times where we were out by week 13 or so. It was usually in the hunts until like we weren't anymore.
Exactly. And so this picture that was painted by the Bills is he broke the drought. The Bengals, bro. I don't need to go back into that anymore. But
I mean, Andy Dalton got his money, so we're
right. Exactly. So I mean, so Steve, let me just get to these comments because I want to get through this. Steve says this show is for critical thinkers, not brainwashed fans who need to cover the truth. PPP is the best. Appreciate that, bro.
Appreciate it.
Tommy says I've been speaking on McDermott for the last 2 seasons. Pagulas and some fans still have their McDermott blinders on. Laura says, isn't winning games the goal? Yes, but that doesn't. How can I say this? That should come along with winning championships, because I think the primary goal for each team is winning a championship, but you do it in stages, right? So a new head coach comes in and they say, what? We want to establish a culture of winning. Establishing a culture of winning, whatever that means, with whatever their approach is, that means winning games initially, right? But winning games is supposed to turn into winning playoff games. Right? Winning playoff games is supposed to turn into winning championship games. That's exactly what we saw for the Chiefs. They went 10-6 the year before they got Mahomes and started winning, 2 straight Super Bowls. You know what I'm saying? Well, they went to their first one and they went to the AFC Championship game, lost. Next year after that, they won. Then they lost again, and then they won 2 back-to-back before last year. So all of that started with, though, them winning games and then going on to win playoff games. So there's supposed to be a progression. It's not just winning games. And I think that's where it kind of splits off into this debate about, well, they're winning games and people like me who are saying, well, winning games isn't enough. You got to get to the next level. You got to continue to, work towards the goal. It's supposed to be a progression from those people who are saying, we're winning games up to, or however you want to say it. I'm not saying y'all down here and I'm up here or whatever, but I just think the idea is we have to understand it's on a scale, but the primary goal has to be championships. And if it's not championships, then you are wasting money and time.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is where I lose people. But I think I said it a long time ago, if you don't win the championship, it's a failure season, especially when you're a team of this caliber. When you're painted as the Super Bowl favorite, 2 years now? You're painted as a Super Bowl favorite 2 years and you don't even make it to the bowl. That's a failure.
Yeah.
There's an expectation that you didn't exceed. You didn't meet. So guess what? You got to go back to the drawing board, not run it back, not go ahead and get the people you're familiar with, not do the same things you've been doing, because it doesn't work. It's never going to work. It's cool for the 17, 18 games you play, including the divisional round, wild card, whatever the case may be. But after that, then what? You know, because next year, heaven forbid, you sneak into the number 1 spot. You get the wild card, the wild card bye, and then next thing you know, you're what? You're playing your first game of the divisional round, which is the round you usually lose, and then we get bounced.
Right.
How embarrassing would that be? Was that when people have to wake up and see, you know what? Nah, this ain't it. We got to change. This ain't it.
Yeah. There's an article that I saw, and I want to see if I can find it here now.
No bones, yes, he is. I'm behind now, but yes, Bosa is droopy. I'm happy.
Steve says, keep crapping on McDermott. Hit him up. It's not personal, not criticism as a man, just as a coach who needs to be gone. Nate says the process is long-term organizational success. Even that theory is questionable to me. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm sure the owner loves winning all these games, but so this article I wanted to get to. This is, man, let me see if I can find it here.
And why you do that? Yep. I was going to address Kev. He said, we understand, but you can't have that one toxic boss not being held accountable by the general media. Well, that's twofold. I mean, that's the them problem. You know, for me, if you have an issue with that boss, take it into your own hands. I mean, you don't have an HR department. These are men. These guys fight. We've seen Dayball. We've seen Russ Brandon. We've seen Sean McDermott get into it with people. So that's to them. You handle it however you got to handle it. I know how we handle it in our jobs. It's a lot easier to replace us than it is to them to replace them. You know, I mean, your CEO at your job, wherever you work, is going to have an easier time replacing you than Pagula and Fam will have by replacing Eric Ciano or whatever the case may be. There's not a lot of guys with those kind of qualifications and everybody wants that job. They just can't have it. And that's why these guys walk around the way they do, because they know they're irreplaceable. The fact that he walked out on the team, according to your report, after having ruffles with his boss, which is Sean McDermott, tells you all you need to know. Yeah. You can't go into your boss's office and do what he did. If your boss knows you hate him, guess what? They're going to figure out how to deal with you. And that's what they do. That's why we got to walk around and smile and do all the things we do all the time. We go home and punch a wall. Not really, but some of us.
Right. I'm still trying to pinch off this article here, see if I can get into my history here. So while I look for this.
Yeah, scroll me down. I'll hit some of these.
Yeah. Go for it.
All right. Let's see. Okay, Walter, we have a running back that is one of the best in the league and on early downs, and we want to forgo that potentially because you want him to pass block on third and distance. Now, Walter, I saw it spin. I'm not honestly. I don't know if it was spin or not. So I'm sorry to keep picking on you if it wasn't. But mention that Ty Johnson is a better pass blocker than James Cook. Based on what? I mean, that's my thing. Based on what? I've watched. Trust me, I watched James Cook's passing blocking attempts. He gave up, I'll say, 3 bad pass block sets. The rest of them was supposed to be a chip that got Josh Allen in mobile, and he was supposed to hit James Cook in the flats. He held the ball longer. That's what he does. He holds the ball, he scrambles, it makes it look bad.
Yeah.
But for the most part, he was supposed to chip, and you could watch the film. If you have season what is football? League Pass, or what is it with all 22? Whatever it is. I got
that's
basketball and
NFL
football.
Plus.
NFL Plus. If you got NFL Plus, go back and watch him. You'll see he'll chip and he'll look back at Josh Allen right away. Like, give me the ball. That's the play. But Josh is selling out for something a little deeper downfield.
Yep. And
he as good as he is, he gets himself in some trouble sometimes by doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah. All right. I found the article. It is from Athlon Sports. So I want to give them credit. But here's the title. And this all is going back into what I've been saying about the way that this team is marketing themselves to the fans, right? It says Bills ownership instills win now mentality, right? Now, when I saw that, I was like, oh, was there some sort of meeting or something like that they had? Like, are they reporting on, like, the owner's getting serious now, putting out statements? Like, this could be huge, right? So I click on this thing. It said the subtitle is, the Pagula family wants everything to be done to finally win a title for the Buffalo Bills. I said, thank God. Thank God. Right? So I start reading this thing because I want to see what they're talking about right now. It's right. So I'm going to read this. I'm going to give them full credit. I'm going to read this whole joint. It's pretty short, right? It says, it's very easy to tell which owners across the league are considered win now individuals and which ones are focused on building a culture or making money as a bottom line, right? Then it goes on to say, Teams like the Dallas Cowboys haven't spent much in free agency in recent years, with an ownership group that seems perfectly content to keep running out the same kind of team they've had for years. Right? Then it goes on to say the Buffalo Bills and the Pegula family, however, are not that kind of ownership team. Buffalo entered the 2025 offseason with limited cap space and a clear vision in mind on what needed to happen to get them past the Kansas City Chiefs in a crowded AFC. In a recent poll made by The Athletic, the Bills ownership team was commended for pushing that win now mentality to keep Buffalo in contention no matter what, even if that meant re-signing Josh Allen to an extension years before they actually needed to. Then it goes on to say the Bills made Josh Allen one of the highest paid players in league history earlier this month with a new 6-year, $330 million contract The Athletic published. Then they had a busy free agency meeting needs at pass rusher, defensive back, safety, okay, wide receiver, running back, and more, while trying to finally get over that Kansas City hump that is slowed. All these ads keep messing me up. Over the Kansas City's slump that has slowed Terry Pegula's team in the playoffs for years now. Buffalo may not get by Kansas City next season. They may not even get by other teams in the AFC either. But with an aggressive owner, Bills fans can at least have comfort in the fact that they will always be in the conversation of title contention with the Pegulas in charge.
Sabres, how you feel about that? Sabres fans, how you feel about the aggressive owner?
First of all that. Because, point me to the spot in this article where the owner is actually having a win now mentality. Is it the Josh Allen contract? No, they needed to do that to create cap space. That's why they did it, not because they're trying to win now. What does it matter? You're giving the best player on your team, who happens to be your quarterback, a bigger extension 2 years before, or was it 2 or 3? It was like 3 years before he needed to have it. Mm-hmm. It might have been a little bit. It might have been 4 years, but
yeah, I think he just play his first season of that contract.
Yeah. Now they gave him more on top of that, 6 more.
Yeah, and the thing is that he's amicable. That's the problem. He's amicable. Josh Allen didn't say find a way to get me better money.
Well, no, I so I guess the point of, and I get where you're going, but the point of me bringing this up is just to show this is the stuff that they're putting out that the rah-rah fan, the wishful thinking fan, is eating up like cake. Mm-hmm. My owner's got a win now mentality, and they breeze right through this thing, and it never occurs to them that there isn't actually anything in here that talks about what changed in the mentality. Was there a meeting in which something that clearly shows me that there's a different mentality about winning now, as opposed to when they signed Von Miller for 6 years, 100 and whatever million? That was a win now mentality too. What happened between now and then? What's the difference? It doesn't say any of that in this article. But this is a prime example of what I've been talking about, and this stuff is possible.
I believe it said something about running it back, didn't it?
No, they're talking about the Cowboys when they said that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring that up, because that's what we heard the Buffalo Bills say. Mm-hmm. And surprisingly, the Buffalo Bills, last time I checked, the Buffalo Bills are now number 2 national, might be globally, in terms of brand recognition and popularity and all that kind of stuff. They're up there, top 5 in the league now, possibly top 3 behind the Cowboys. So when you look at all of that in a nutshell, you say, okay, how has the team benefited from what they're doing now? Well, they seem to have benefited much more in their image, their public image, the value of the team, all that stuff. They benefited more on the business side of things than they have in the actual football side of things, right? Because 2 AFC championship games, both with which you lose by less than a touchdown, mean what at the end of the day?
You lost.
Yeah.
It wasn't, we were this close. It wasn't, we lost. And that's all to it. When you think about it, Kev said, I agree with most of what Kev said. Diggs tried, Dable tried, Von Miller sided with Diggs. It's true, but I just can't get behind J17 flexing behind the scenes.
No,
I can't.
He's not.
I can't.
Listen, he may be beginning to show the body language that he's unhappy, but when you watch Josh Allen, the stuff he shows now is the uncontrollable stuff, the stuff that seeps out without his awareness, right? That's when a person is beginning to get close to a breaking point, right?
He said starting now.
Yeah, exactly.
I welcome it wholeheartedly. I welcome it.
It very much so is starting now. But again, like we've pointed this out, it took how many years to get to this point?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So okay, it took 8 years for him to get to this point where he's tired. He's been 2 AFC championship games, a bunch of divisional round losses, and everything in the playoffs has been the same. It's been the defense can't keep up at the end of the game to stop teams from scoring, and they don't have enough weapons on offense to go down and get the job done when they have the ball last. And again, to put a pretty bow on all of this, to just show how out of touch this coaching staff is. Maybe I shouldn't speak for the whole coaching staff. Maybe I should just speak for the guys who actually spoke in the press conferences. Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott both said we had the ball on that last drive with a chance to score and win the game, and we didn't get it done. Now they may see that as some level of accountability and taking ownership of the moment or whatever the case is. But if that were true, they wouldn't have said we had the ball in our hands with a chance to score at the end of the game and we didn't get it done. They would talk more about their own impact on the game as opposed to what Josh Allen's circumstance was at the end of the game. Because it damn sure wasn't Sean McDermott out on the field with the ball in his hands and didn't get it done. So when a coach says that, and you read it in a publication, the words for the individual value of the words read out as the interpretation or the inference of those individual words read out as our offense was on the field last with a chance to score and win the game. We didn't get it done. Yeah, okay. I'm sure you meant we. We know what you really meant. The idea that this is a culture that talks about being accountable to one another and playing for one another and loving on one another and all this great stuff that sounds beautiful. Every family in the world wishes they had what the Buffalo Bills had. You know what I'm saying? But where is it showing in the games? Like, I'm sorry. I've seen my team play harder during the drought years than I've seen them play in playoff games.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, anyway, I'll digress from that because I really want to get to this.
I like what Sankey said.
Yeah.
He said it. Well, I'm not going to say it. The particular podcast he said, you guys can see it in the comments. Other pods don't see the writing on the wall. They see greatness in Hamlin, Coleman's of the world. Meanwhile, they don't rank even top 50 at their position. This is okay. I will give you Coleman. Hamlin is somebody that the Bills fans are like, yo, get this doofus out of here. Not me. But I think he's slated where he's supposed to be. However, if I am the coach and GM, I'm bringing Hamlin back 100%, but I'm definitely putting somebody ahead of him that I know is going to start.
Right.
I'm not bringing in Derek Forrest and Cole Bishop and a rookie and please, God, hope, play, please. Oh, no, because if I'm bringing Hamlin back, he's going to be my starter if the guy ahead of him that we already know who it is going down. There's no competition. Forrest came and said there's going to be competition. They told me competition. So we already know there's a competition. And now everybody's like, I'm afraid, based on McDermott's principles, it's going to be Hamlin starting again.
Yep.
And, for me, I'm happy for the guy. I'm happy for Hamlin. I'm not happy for what it does for my team, but I'm happy that he made it back and now he's a productive part of a team somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, but I think for me, I would take out Hamlin's name and enter. You tell me if I'm wrong. They see greatness in Rousseau. They see greatness in Bernard. They see greatness in Spencer Brown, Ed Oliver, Dorian Williams, Christian Benford. These aren't names that these are not household names. These are household names in Buffalo. These are guys that Bills fans are afraid to lose. Not unlike Mac Hollins. Because it's a name recognition. It's all we have. Don't take it from us. We can't do better than, but you can.
Right.
But the problem lies in the fact that the team hasn't shown you that they want to do better than. That's why we can't let go of these guys. That's why we covet Christian Benford. That's why we covet Terrell Bernards and people like that to get these contracts.
Yeah.
Because we know there's better out there, but we know the Bills aren't going to do it.
Right.
And that's a problem for me. And that's what I'm glad that Sankey said that, because while I don't agree Hamlin belongs in that thought, I can pretty much name 6 to 7, maybe 8 other Bills that do belong in this place.
Yeah. Yeah. Kev says this defense system has not changed in 5 years. If this continues, they will continue to have the same result. I mean, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I've occupied enough time. I think that's so huge because everybody thinks that you said 5 years. Guess who was the defensive coordinator last year? Not this past season, but last year.
Sean McDermott.
Mr. Aggressive that we didn't get with Leslie Frazier. It's the same defense, the same principles, pretty much the same players. And if I'm McDermott, I'm saying I'm a defensive. You would think, you know what? I'm a head coach. I don't have time to go into the nuance. Let me get some real players in here. No, let's not. Let me go get Quentin Jefferson. Let me go get, Vernon Butlers and those kind of players, and Jordan Phillips for 19th time.
Yep.
I'm only going to Buffalo. That's because that's the only team that's going to talk to you still.
Right.
And I mean, while I appreciate your love for the city, I appreciate what you do for us most times. Let's call it what it is. You're out there. You're going to get not as much from any other team besides what you get in Buffalo. You're going to be a backup that's not playing. That's what you don't want.
Yeah. Well, Walter says, if Tom Brady had McD as his head coach, he would still be searching for a Super Bowl win because Brady was never this high velocity, potent offensive player in the postseason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So really quick, I want to ask you about the Christian Benford situation too, because I had this thought and I want to see what you think about it. So we know what happened with Josh Norman when he went to, I think it was Washington after he left Carolina, right? He might have went somewhere else before that. But anyway, long story short, he kind of fizzled out. He wasn't the same player. He struggled in man coverage. Everybody knew he's mostly his own corner. I think the same is to be said about Benford.
Yeah.
And I think, surprisingly, both guys are very similar. Josh Norman might be a little bit more of a ball hawk. I remember watching him play and watching even some of the film on him. And he's more of the type of corner that will undercut a route more often than not. Whereas Benford is a little bit more disciplined in his play and wants to stay with the receiver to make sure he doesn't get beat. When it comes to both guys, though, they both didn't get paid by Sean McDermott. Now, mind you, Sean McDermott was a defensive coordinator when Josh Norman was there, blah, blah, blah. But if a defensive coordinator goes to his team and says, hey, I need this guy, we got to pay him. Most times, more times than not, especially with the type of team that they had, where they were more defensively focused than offense. Cam Newton basically was the entire offense, and then they had a really good defense. In that instance, Josh Norman didn't get paid. In this instance, I honestly don't think Christian Benford is going to get paid. I'd be very surprised if they did decide to give him and James Cook a contract, because of where their salary cap is right now after all these unnecessary free agents.
Benford's definitely not. That's not. You can't.
Yeah, especially for what the market dictates that he's going to get. Even if he were to take $2 or $3 million less, it's still more than what you want to pay for his skill set. Not saying he's a bad player, but for what you're going to get, and then you still got to go out and find a number one corner. See, that I think that's the part that most people who aren't thinking critically miss is we have Christian Benford who's up for a contract extension. But people are still talking about the Bills need a number one corner. People are still talking about the Bills need they need a lockdown corner. They're saying these things about a team that already has a guy that was highly rated by PFF the year before. So if Christian Benford was really that good, then why isn't anybody screaming at the top of their lungs they need to pay this guy? Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting here thinking about it like this. The Bills don't have the money. Christian Benford's his cap hit is I think like $1 million some change, not $2 million even. Stingley just signed for $30 million, almost guaranteed.
you don't have the money, even if you wanted to give this man that money. So that's a wrap. James Cook's deal, you could probably get away with throwing him another $2 million, and that's going to be right where you're going to be to sweeten it until next year. Not saying that you should do that. I'm just saying that's the one that would happen if one of them did. Benford, forget about it. It doesn't mean that he's not coming back. It doesn't mean he doesn't want to come back. It just means he's not going to take a lot less than what he's supposed to be getting.
Mm-hmm.
Stingley, if you compare them, it's night and day.
Yes.
So, I mean, and I'm looking at even Asante Samuel Jr. He's still out there, but his market value is $11 million. Can't tackle, small. He's an excellent zone. But see, then you look at the draft. There's guys in the draft that you can. I said this thing 2 shows ago. This defense is very much interchangeable. You don't need a blue chipper the way they play. Just a plug and play guy, like they say about dime a dozen guys. Yeah. That's what they are. Cornerbacks. You play soft zone. Just get a guy with good zone concepts when you're looking
at that guy in the 5th, 6th, 7th round.
And I have them. I have undrafted guys that were tops in college in zone defense last year. Yeah. And that's what they're going to go for. I guarantee you, some of those guys will show up on our team.
The guy you liked, Kenai Lovely or whatever his name was, he could have been a guy to come in and do something like that. He played outside in college. So, okay. So I want to get through these comments real quick, and then, we got time.
Can you go? I just thought about it. It was like 6:51. I don't know who said it, but it was about 6:51-ish.
51.
No, that's 52. Right there. Wait. Who said it? We definitely need to make some changes. Personality. People are so traumatized by the 4th down. We forget the importance of early downs. Yeah. Okay. So right there. Yeah. People are so traumatized by that 4th down. We forget the importance of early down play calling to better set up for 3rd and 4th downs. We got too pass happy, and that was our undoing, not Cook's blocking. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not about getting a home run every play. It's about accumulation of getting 10 yards. If you can get 4 and 4, what's the last 2? If you can get 3 and 3, you should be able to get 4. You should, at some point or some way, shape, or form, you should have a way of getting that first down, whether or not it's going to be one man's downfall. Everybody on the field, Josh Allen included, has an Achilles heel. We know Josh Allen can't throw a deep. He can throw a deep, but he can't throw a deep ball. That's his Achilles heel.
Right.
Should we take him off the field and put a deep ball throw? No. You have just for it.
You know what fixes that?
What?
Having a guy you can't overthrow.
I don't know. I know. But it just seems like he just can't hit it. Like you give him speed, guys. And it's fine. I'm cool with that. Yeah. But it's a low throw. It's a low target throw anyway. A low percentage throw anyway. So it is what it is. He does everything else well. So what do I care about a deep ball? The same way with Rousseau, same way. And I think that's what people are missing. They're told that this position is supposed to do all this other bull stuff, and they're not.
Right.
Why are we talking about wide receiver blocking? Who cares?
Yeah.
We don't even run to the outside. Why do we care if we run wide receiver blocks?
That's a great point.
So, I mean, they tell you to think about it. They tell you, you watch Locked On Bills. I watch them just like you guys. Trust me. And sometimes I'm glad I got this show because I'm like, I can't wait to talk about what I heard.
Right. Roy asks, is Benford a top 5 cornerback in the league? I've heard many say he is. What say you?
Top 5? No, I would say top 10 probably. What he's asked to do, though. If you just say in any scheme, no.
Top 10?
For what he's asked to do?
We can't name 10 guys better than him?
At what he's asked to do? I don't think so. Now, cornerback-wise? No, if you said overall that can do everything.
So who's on the list? Who we putting as number 1?
Okay. Well, like I said, it's got to be what he's asked to do. Because if you're just talking about cornerbacks, no, he's not top 10.
Well, I mean, that was the question. I get the angle you're putting on it. But he asked, is he a top 5 cornerback in the league?
No. Unless he's in the Bills system or a system like the Bills, heavy zone.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Because even with a guy like Jalen Johnson in Chicago, he's more of his own corner. He's good. I would say.
Well, he's like the epitome.
I think Jalen Johnson is the maximum level that Christian Benford could ever get to. That's what you hope you have in Christian Benford is Jalen Johnson, right?
Mm-hmm.
That with Benford being here for 4 years already now. This is his fourth year. Yeah, this is so he's going into his last year, his 4th year in the league. I mean, look, by year 3 of a corner's career, you generally have an understanding of how good they're going to be. I mean, look at the contract Derek Stingley just got. Right? He was what, 4th pick overall in the draft, and just got 3 years, $90 million or something like that extended onto his contract. So that's a guy that showed very early on he could come and play in the league. Now, what's going to be interesting is to see what happens with the other guy that they drafted in the first round last year in Lassiter. Lassiter played great, right? So they could very well end up with 2 great corners, but you have to look into year 2 and year 3 of a young corner's career, and that'll tell you how good they're going to be.
This is what we have. PFF. I just ran a quick query.
Yeah.
This is overall coverage grades, not zone, not man, just overall. You got Pat Surtain, the second. You got Derek Stingley Jr., Cooper DeJean, Garrett Williams, Marlon Humphrey, Quinyon Mitchell, Trent McDuffie, Jordan Lewis, Christian Benford at 9, Zaire Alexander at 10. So yeah, and this was a query I built based on 20% of the most snaps by a cornerback, 784. So whatever that number is.
Okay.
It's not just somebody that came out there and played against, the wide receiver 3 times and went and sat down. This is
right.
actual player. So yeah, so he's still in.
Okay,
by
so
PFF
he's top 10
9
according to PFF. All right, respect. But again, I think with what we saw with Josh Norman, I think it has to occur to Sean McDermott to some degree. I can put anybody in this system and it'll be fine. I don't need to pay that guy.
Yep. Especially
when his play is pricing himself out, over the salary cap.
Yep.
And to Laura's point, she said, I think Big Baller Bean making them play out the final year. We have very little money.
Mm-hmm.
There was another comment too that kind of spoke to. No, I don't see it. Okay,
I just like Columbus Bully part. He said mediocre players, salary cap is real. Yes, it is. Salary cap is very real. I've been saying that for the longest time. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Right, but okay, I'll put it like this: if we let Christian Benford play out the final year of his contract, his value is already more than the cap would allow. If we paid him, his market value, even $2 to $3 million less than that for a hometown discount,
yeah,
his value is going to go up next year.
Yeah, we don't have it. Yeah,
so it's never going to be a situation where we've got more money next year. Like there's going to be more guys to sign next year, more guys who need extensions. Mm-hmm. Dawson Knox is going to be in the last year of his contract if they don't trade him away this year. You know what I'm saying? So Osiris Torrance is going to be up for a contract extension next year. He goes into the last year of his contract next year, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Next year's last year.
Yeah. So, there's going to be guys who need the money, and you're still going to be in a position where Christian Benford is demanding top cornerback money.
Don't forget, it's about percentage, not about the money. It's about percentage. They come up with anything they want to come up with whenever it fits, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that is what I'm saying. The issue is with the way that the Bills conduct their business here is that it's not solely focused on winning championships. There's a bigger business impact that what they're doing now has had over the last 9 years. I think it's undeniable. With where the Buffalo Bills as a brand is right now, compare that to 2 AFC Championship game appearances and losses in 9 years, almost a decade, and you've only got this close to a Super Bowl twice, with quite possibly the best quarterback in the NFL during that time, right? So that compared to being, top 5 globally in terms of brand recognition and value. You up there with the Dallas Cowboys, who are the number 1 brand, the number 1 franchise, sports franchise in the world, and you up there close to them. Come on, man. That to me is bigger than any AFC Championship game appearance. So they're having more success on the business side than they are on the football field. Look, as much as I want them to have the kind of success they're having everywhere, to me it means more on the field.
Yeah, they're a football team,
right?
They're a football team.
The sport that they're supposed to be good at, they're not the best at.
Right.
they're better on the business side than on the field. So anyway, the Christian Benford thing, that's going to be tough either way we look at it. And what that also, brings into perspective is the James Cook thing might be just as tough, right? And so to kind of, segue into that really quick, I mean, look, I went back and really went in and watched a bunch of tape on Travion Henderson, right? And look, to me, when I watch him on tape, he reminds me of a more slight Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn Lynch in college was a shifty guy, spinning off of folks, running away from folks, and making plays that way. It wasn't until he got to the league that he became a bruiser, right? When I watched the way that Henderson runs the ball, his frame, even in the scouting reports, it says his wide shoulder frame gives him the potential to put on at least 10 pounds of additional weight and play at 215. Guess what Marshawn Lynch played at when he came here and he was beast mode? 215.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It was a mentality, though. For me, Henderson, if you watch him play, he doesn't have contact balance. He doesn't fight for the extra yards.
What?
Yeah, he doesn't have contact balance. Henderson?
Yes.
No.
Bro, okay. Look, we can disagree. That's fine. When you say contact balance, you mean specifically what? Like taking a hit and being able to stay up?
Like, yeah. I mean, you're not talking about breaking tackles and stuff like that. I mean, he still needs to be a little more physical. But yeah, when you're talking about bumping off tackles and bouncing off guys and keep moving, it's not something that's not a strong suit. He's done it, a few times, but if you look at what he's done in the grand scheme of things, he's not somebody I would feel comfortable taking in the second round. That's where he's going in the second round. If that, he might go in the first. So if you're comfortable with that in the first, that's a different conversation. But I mean, for me, if I'm going running back this year, I would probably go with Shul Tootin from Virginia Tech. Now, why? Of course, he's fast as all outdoors. But also, he's got the vision. He's got the one cut. He hits it and goes, 0 to 60 in no time. I knew you were looking at Henderson. That wasn't why I had stuff for him, but I actually had a write up for him. I didn't post. Or maybe I did. I got in posting mode yesterday. I was doing nothing but posting. But yeah, I mean, I think he's definitely the number 2 running back in the draft this year. But just where he's going, I don't know if I feel comfortable making that investment at that position. I mean, you're talking about your first
basically
second.
the same investment that you made in James Cook.
Oh, for sure. But
okay, so
yeah.
I'm looking at it like this. The man averaged just about 7 yards a carry in his senior year, right? So college had seen him for 3 years already, and he comes out in his senior year and averages 7 yards a carry, right? When you watch him run, the angles that he takes, and you combine that with the vision that he shows, when he gets into the open field, guys can't get an angle on him. Like you just can't. With James Cook, I've seen him take some bad angles sometimes that gives guys an opportunity to close in on him. Now I get it's the NFL level, but he's pretty much the same runner he was in college. So when I look at Henderson and I look at his change of direction, his quickness, right, his lateral movement, when I look at how he uses that to widen angles on away from defenders and then speed past them, he ran a 4.43. James Cook ran a 4.42. The speed is not that much different at all. If anything, it looks more on film like Henderson on tape is a little bit more of a physical runner than James Cook is. Now, that's not to disrespect the physicality that James Cook showed this past year.
It was 1 year, so I get it. He showed you one thing, so I understand where you're going with that. You can't go off of one season. So what James Cook did last year, if he does it again, all right, we'll write it in pen.
No. I'm not even saying. I'm not even going that far. Like I respect that you took it that far.
Yeah, I'm a Himbo fan, but that's where I am with it because I don't want people saying, "I told you so." He ain't Shaq. He ain't nothing, man.
No, man. But like when I watch some of the ways that he ran the ball, and for Ohio State, it was the contact balance thing came out when he was going too fast and didn't have enough space to position himself to take the hit and keep running. But there were plenty of times where he was running down the sideline and guys are grabbing on his feet and it should have been a tackle and he shakes it off and keeps running.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think in terms of general contact balance, both guys are about the same, but Henderson is a little bit more physical in terms of when he knows that he can't run around a guy, he chooses to go and run through the guy. Now, I'm willing to step back and wait for James Cook to show that he can be that again next year, so that nobody can take that from him. But even in college, he kind of like he didn't run the ball like that. He was more of a speed type of runner that ran away from people. Mm-hmm. So I'm just I liken the comparison more like somebody said Henderson plays like Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is probably closer to James Cook than he is Henderson. To me, Henderson is a young up and coming Marshawn Lynch type of running back if he adopts that mentality in the NFL and puts on a little bit of weight and plays with a little bit more physicality.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just I know he's got durability issues. He missed a lot of time in 23 and 24, so I'm worried about the injuries. I mean, if you watch how Ohio State played, they had what was the quarterback? I forget the quarterback's name now, but obviously they had Ibuka and they had Marvin Harrison Jr. last year or 2 years ago, and then they had Jakeem Smith last year. So they're really, when you're talking about a committee back with Judkins back there, it made life a lot easier. So I think if you're talking about Henderson, him and James Cook would be something that you want to look at as a tandem. That'd be exciting. But then where's Ray Davis fit in? So, and then where's Darrington Evans? Just joking. Where's
well, look, I don't want to box you in terms of your fandom of James Cook.
No. I'm being 100% unbiased here. I'll tell you that he's got a lot of stuff that leaves to be desired. And I think if we're talking about Henderson as a realistic target, it's more so not even James Cook. It's more so the Ray Davis point. That's the role that he's supposed to be filling, but you just drafted him last year. You're getting a guy that's going to do pretty much what he does.
Well, okay. Then I'm gonna land on this point because really this is the only reason I even started looking at Henderson in the first place. When I really thought about the Christian Benford point, and then I kind of carried that thought over into the James Cook point. I came to the conclusion that the Bills really can't afford to pay both guys at all.
You want a hot take?
Go for it.
If they trade James Cook, get rid of James Cook.
Yeah.
After I'm done crying, Ray Davis is my starting running back.
Yeah. No,
I'm saying 2026 is the year I'm going for a running back. Ray Davis will be my running back, and in 2026 will be the year I'm getting my running back.
So your boy, who's the running back they keep signing that never gets any burn? Darrington Evans. Yeah. Darrington Evans will finally get a roster spot.
Nah, it still be Frank Gore, but still.
That might be right. That might be right. No, that's exactly what I proposed the year before when I knew we were coming into the situation. If James Cook doesn't pan out, you got Ray Davis to fall back on. You don't have to pay James Cook. I was even saying that, halfway through the season, but. Ideally, you want to still put a speed guy out there with your Ray Davis, who's more of a bruiser, bowling ball type of like Ray. Who Ray Davis really reminds me of is Ray Rice, like the way he plays. 100%. You know what I'm saying? Like he's just a bowling ball out there. You know what I mean?
I actually can see that. See, I see when you do comparisons. I don't know enough about NFL players to what they do to compare, but yeah, I can see that 100%. And it's not just the first name; it really is the way they play.
Yeah.
I think Ty Johnson is actually really fast, which I didn't know. But I liken this to Tommy. Cover your ears. Josh Allen had his best years as Devin Singletary was his running back. Is Ray Davis better than?
Say that one more time.
Josh Allen had his best years. Was Devin Singletary as his running back? What I'm saying when I say that is not.
I hope Tommy's not watching this.
Well, I'm not gonna slam on Devin, but what I'm saying is Ray Davis better than Devin? Yes. So if we didn't have the dynamic James Cook, yes, that's still him, but that's still my guy. If we didn't have him, and Ray was there. Ray is an upgrade on Devin Singletary, and Josh can still function. That's where I'm going with that.
Billy D said he's nice. Bully says, and Henderson has a second gear. Donnie, what's going on, man? He says that's on Bean. Why we so close but can't get it done? Steve says, I want my number 2 wide receiver behind Hunter. Kyle Williams out of wash, won't make it past round 2. Mark it down.
Number 2 behind Hunter. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Round 1 is just a pariah for me. It's gonna be a weird round 1 because you got Kenneth Grant who didn't wow people at his pro day or combine, which somebody will still probably take a flyer on. Then you got Matthew Golden, who may fall, which that would be my pick. Matthew Golden. If he fell to 25, I do what you got to do to get him. Do what you got to do to get him. I mean,
Golden is what does he play?
Matthew Golden, wide receiver out of Texas. Pure route runner, 4.3 speed, 6'2", little slight. I mean, you can get Torrey Horton later in the draft, but Matthew Golden is soaked, man. He's soaked. And I think with him on the field, especially once he gets up to speed with the NFL game, Keon Coleman would burst because of him. You know, that's just the symbiotic nature of the game with those two.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, look, the first round this year is going to be tough just because of the shift on offense. You know what I'm saying? Like most teams are going to start to really invest heavily in the run game. You know, the offensive linemen involved, the running backs. I mean, you can probably find running backs, you know, anywhere in any round. You know what I'm saying? But I think where the Buffalo Bills sit at 30, the way that they've treated it is as if it is either an emergency pick that we need to get rid of to move up and select a guy that you know we didn't really study much of because the guy that we wanted is gone, or it's the first pick of the second round.
I think Billy D hit it on the head, and that's what they should do. Like you said, if the person you really want is gone, don't trade up and panic. Yeah. Trade back, get out of the first. That's fine. I mean, it's not as fun that Thursday night. It's not gonna be fun. Speaking of which, you guys have to tell me. I took off for the first night of the draft, second night of the draft. You guys want a draft show? If you get a draft show, do you promise you'll show up?
You got to show up for nothing
and show out. I'm missing out on money. I don't get paid for when I take off from there. So I did it. I committed. Now, if you guys want a draft show, you got to show up and show out. I want comments. I want people rapping with me. I want a whole experience. If you promise that, we'll do it.
I'm certain we'll see that.
I think so. I really was shamelessly plugging the show actually, but you know, I was like, yeah, draft show, be there or be square.
Very well done, sir. Walter says, I just don't think Beans earned the confidence from fans to believe he can strike twice at running back given his draft history. Take Cook away and his running back drafting is average at best.
Is it?
I mean, he got Ray Davis.
He got Zach Moss too.
Yeah, he did.
Who didn't do anything here when he got out of here.
He was a beast in Cincinnati.
Yeah,
he got hurt.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know, I get it. You're right to a degree. I mean, you know, but I mean,
he played well in Indy too.
Zach Moss actually got away from Buffalo and made people make business decisions like he promised when he was here.
Yeah, I you know what? Running back might be one of those positions that he's just kind of sneaky good at. You know what I'm saying? Like Singletary was sneaky good.
Yeah,
he wasn't great.
No.
Zach Moss here sneaky good. Wasn't great.
You could see.
Yeah, but I think so. Here's the thing with James Cook. I think the reason that a guy like that gets the usage that he gets, right? Because let's look at where Sean McDermott really wanted to go. Sean McDermott was poisoned by his interactions with Stephon Diggs.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't like dealing with that. He didn't even like dealing with it in Carolina. He didn't like Cam Newton.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's documented. He didn't like Cam Newton. So when you look at his perception of big time players who know they're good, that interaction with Stephon Diggs is like, I'm not dealing with that no more.
He probably still drinks after that.
Right.
He's probably still drinking.
Right. So when you look at the usage of players, there's typically not a guy on the team that you can look at and say, oh, he's the new number one, right? Even before Diggs got here, like there was no guy that you can point to and say he's the number. Like people thought Robert Foster was developing into the number one. Nope, psych.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like that might help with the echo. Their mentality of we're not going to how can I say this? We're not going to succumb to having to pay a guy big time money because we've used him to the degree that has made him a superstar. You get what I'm saying? Think about what they've done with Khalil Shakir. We all thought Khalil Shakir was going to be that dude. Well, guess what? They don't use him enough for him to be that dude.
Mm-hmm. Now they will because they paid him. Let's see what they do.
No, not at all. Not at all. You know what they're going to do? The same thing they did with Dawson Knox. They showed you what they're going to do with him. They showed you exactly what they're going to do with him. Everybody thought that he was going to get this huge payday. What ended up happening? Hometown discount. Same thing with the other two guys that they re-signed. Terrell Bernard, hometown discount, right? The defensive players that he's picked up will probably get the best chance to earn the maximum of their contracts because those are solidified every down starters, right? But the offensive guys, for some reason, they're not allowed to come out and have the same opportunities that guys on the defense have. It's one thing to have that exist in a team that is solely defensively focused, like the Cleveland Browns, solely defensively focused. Like that team is defense. You know when you play them, defense. The Steelers, you know when you play them, defense. Ravens, you know when you play them, defense. Right? If it was a team like that, where the identity of the franchise has been defense for years, then okay, I can understand that the offensive players may not get the recognition. They may not get the burn and all that because it's more so about putting the defense out there to shut the other team down. But the Bills, especially with Josh Allen, we've not been that. The identity of this team has been scoring points and out-dueling teams and blowing teams out. We've not been a shutdown defense ever.
No, it's been a long. None of this regime, right?
You know what I'm saying? Like even the I think the highest ranked defense we had under Sean McDermott was what number 2 statistically in the league, and I think that year was the year we played Derrick Henry and he ran all over us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Josh
saying?
Norman still got the Derrick Henry tattoo on his chest.
Like you can't be seen as a dominant defense and have stuff like that happen. That didn't happen to the Steelers back in their day. That didn't happen to the Ravens when that actually doesn't happen to the Ravens. That's what I'm trying to get to is like when you look at the identity of this team, what is it? It really comes down to we don't want any singular person to be great because A, it works out business wise. We don't have to pay him much. And B, we never have to deal with the personality stuff that comes with it. That's a shame. That's a shame that that's become a singular focus of the franchise.
Yeah.
Walter says, I disagree. Shakir had 21% of the target share, 100 targets. If we get anything resembling a wide receiver one that can come in, is he really going to see more targets than he did this year? If you have to ask that question, that means I'm right. I mean, I understand what you're saying in terms of target share, but when you get 100 targets and you only get 800 yards, I mean,
I think he actually could get more. But I think you'd see Keon Coleman's role disappear. I think you'd see Dawson Knox's targets disappear. Or I'm sorry, Kincaid's targets disappear.
Yeah.
So it would become the Shakir and insert a wide receiver one show.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, that means what? Shakir is going to max out his contract, and probably in about 2 more years after that, his agent is going to come asking for more money. He's going to be justified if he's putting up numbers like that. If he's getting 100 targets and he's putting up 1,100 yards, if he's getting 100 targets and he's putting up 1,300 yards, which a guy of his skill set absolutely could in the slot if he was used to that degree.
Yeah, I mean, if you start throwing the ball at 8 to 10 yards downfield before you catch it, and then you see an uptick. But I mean, when you're catching the ball behind the one line of scrimmage inside the 5, almost all the time, and they have to work hard for your money every time you touch the ball. I mean, how many times have you seen Khalil Shakir just catch the ball and go down and get a first down? It really doesn't happen that often.
Right.
He has to work hard for it, more so than anybody else on the offense first.
Yeah. Columbus said, Columbus said, when we hired McD, we were supposed to be that defense. Okay, let me ask you this, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Name the best drought defense we ever had.
Jim Schwartz's defense. Who was that? Was that Marone?
Yes.
Yeah, that wide 9 with Mario and what's the guy's name? Oh, I forgot his name. Oh, what was his name? He was a nondescript guy. We had Manny Lawson. There was another guy from New England that was always injured. Defensive end. But no, that wide 9 defense that we had, that was by far the most shutdown defense we had.
Really?
You think you can think of something else?
Bills 03.
What was that? Sam Adams and them?
Yeah, Sam Adams, Aaron Schobel. I think. Wait, was that 03?
With Pat Williams and
yeah,
Sam Adams
that's what I was gonna say. Pat Williams, Ted Washington, Aaron Schobel. You had
Kelsey. Was that Kelsey? That'd be Kelsey on the other side.
That might have been Kelsey's first year.
Yeah,
because they had Marcellus Wiley back then too.
That dude.
But yeah, so they had them. They had London Fletcher. They had Takeo Spikes. They had, you know what I'm saying? Like that defense. They had Jeff Posey. They had, I think that year they had Antoine Winfield and Nate Clements on that team.
Now I got to look this up. Which one was actually statistically better? Let me see, because I mean you can't go wrong with that one. But let me see.
All right, while you do that, I want to give a shout out.
Bang that out. Go ahead.
Yep. Let me see here, Scott. Appreciate you, bro. He says 2-part question: should we double dip in corn corner, and DT in the first 2 rounds since we have 2 picks in the second round? Second question: if we don't extend Cook, should we get running back in the draft?
I am not double dipping in the sense that you're outlining here. I'm double dipping. I'm definitely getting 2 corners or 2 D tackles. Actually, I'm going to definitely get 2 or 3 D tackles and at least 1 corner high. But yeah, I definitely want to use this draft for defensive tackle. If we don't extend James Cook, I would definitely take a look at Bashul Tootin from Virginia Tech. I think A likes Travion Henderson, which is not a bad pick, but I think where he goes, it scares the hell out of me to take him that high with one or 2.
I honestly don't think you need to. I mean, with what we have in the building already right now, I think Ray Davis is a starter. I think he could go out there and handle the same workload that James Cook did with just about as much of the same effectiveness minus the home run hitting ability. But he's also a guy that I would probably trust a little bit more on the 1 yard line than I would James Cook. Just because of his physicality and his size. I think him being a little bit smaller and a little bit more of a bowling ball gives him that leverage that he needs to power through in those tight situations. So yeah, I mean, with that being said, I don't think you need to go out and get a running back in the draft, even if you don't let James Cook go. But that also means that you need to make sure that you're getting some playmaking ability from somebody else on the team, because that's one of the things that James Cook gave you, was a guy that can take it from the 5 all the way to the touchdown on any given play. You know what I'm saying? I think the Bills might be forced in that situation to have to go to a guy like Shakir and have him be the go-to playmaker that Josh can go to in those situations. As far as defensive tackle, double dipping, if we're gonna double dip, I want my 1 tech first, and then I want another guy that can come in and play the 3. Just as good, if not better, than Oliver. Right.
Yeah, we're disregarding Dwayne Carter.
I'm skipping right over that dude.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and skip over him.
Until he actually becomes Kyle Williams. I'll wait. I'll reserve judgment.
Yeah.
Because that was like the thing with him. It's like he's super smart. He's a
He's
leader.
a
Blah
leader,
blah blah.
He's a captain. He's an inspiration, and he does nothing on the field.
But yeah. So if we did something like that, where we get our one tech, our guy that's going to help Ed Oliver, and then also get another guy that can come in and give you the same, the same or similar pass rush at 3 tech that Ed Oliver can give you. I think that helps, because that's the other part of this equation. We never really talk about what happens when Ed Oliver comes off the field.
Yeah, it gets hairy.
Yeah,
it gets real hairy.
Thank you for that, Scott.
I think to Scott's point, I think if you look, to your point, I'm just pulling up a list here because I can't remember offhand what order we have them going in. But as it stands right now, if you're looking, you actually might, with that line of thinking, if Walter Nolan's there, you might want him. That's who you may actually want. He's 3 tech. You could put him at the one as a disservice. He was the self-proclaimed fat boy when he went to college because he had to lose about 60 pounds. He, took out the baby weight, put on some muscle.
Yeah.
But I think if he's there at 30 and you're looking at going after, a Tyleek Williams or somebody like that, which I could double down for Tyleek. I could get Alfred Collins. I don't want TJ Sanders. That's the name that people link to Buffalo. I don't want TJ Sanders because he's just 295 pounds. That's not good enough for me. Omar Norman Lott, which I don't want to say because I can't say it. No, Deion Walker I like, but Deion Walker definitely has some farming up to do. He's a little on the chunkier side, 6'6", 345. I think he broke something or has a back issue, so that's tough. Darius Alexander out of Toledo is a very interesting guy. That's going to be your 3 tech only. But he is a disruptor, very much a disruptor. If you were looking at somebody, if he fell to the third, well, we don't have a 3rd round pick, but if he was there, you might want to see what you can do to move up there. After that, there's Joshua Farmer. There is my guy, JJ Pegas from Ole Miss. If you want a fullback, draft this guy who's going to be a fullback, tight end, and defensive tackle, 3 and 1 tech. He's everything, man. Let's do it. I can't figure out how to get him in a mock draft, though, so I got to figure this part out.
All right. I wanted to address this earlier, and it kind of got lost.
Yep, that's where I was going to.
Yep.
Steve, it's your turn.
No doubt. Steve says if nephew falls, and so when he says nephew, he's talking about Will Johnson from Michigan. If nephew falls and the best safety is available past 15, do you move up? Who would you choose?
I know who you're taking.
Okay. I can.
Okay, let me do it.
I don't know if I can. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to figure out a way to structure what I know about that situation.
Well, let's put it like this. I'm gonna put it in layman's terms. What are you saying is if Malachi Starks is there, Nick Heeman, forget that. If Malachi Starks is there at 30, because Heeman Warrior, I'm not interested in. He's a workout warrior, and I don't want to get him at 30 because he's not polished enough. He's not going to give you enough in the defensive game as it stands. Outside of a 6'3", 210 pound frame.
That's the same thing they said about DK Metcalf.
No, well, see, they were idiots.
Why they can't be idiots now?
Because they were. Why would you say that about DK Metcalf? What did they say? They said what?
They were saying he's a workout warrior. He can't run a full route tree.
He still can't run a full. But the dude does what he does well.
Oh, okay, so why can't the safety be that? Because even Warrior, he's slow to react. See, for him, he's slow. What you have to do to be a safety, I'll take it with the 2nd round pick. Well, okay, which you putting him at, strong or free? I need a free. I'm tired of strongs. But if you're doing a split safety, does it matter? Yeah, but I think they only did split safety because they had to. I don't think they want to. I think they need to do a single high if they need to be able to. But that's creative. I don't know. I guess. Look, I'll put it like this. Safety is one of those positions where I'd rather them go get a guy like Eman Wari because they've shown an ability to train up safeties, especially with what they did with Bishop later on in the year and even in the AFC Championship game. Like, he didn't look bad in the AFC Championship game, and that was year 1 for him. You know what I'm saying? So I just think you go and get the athletic guy and you teach him. You know what I mean? Like that's supposed to be their mantra anyway, is we want the athletic freaks. We want the big athletic guys, and we'll teach them. We'll bring them in here and develop them up. That's why they got Greg Rousseau. It's all the same stuff they were saying about Groot.
Well, I would take Xavier Watts over him. So I think that's my thing. Xavier Watts is definitely the ball hawk that I really want.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the game I'm looking for.
What school does he play for?
Notre Dame.
It's a wrap.
What's that?
Because the Bills don't draft guys from big time colleges to come and play prominent roles.
They don't like South Carolina either because Xavier Legette ain't here. He like that coon. I be that coon over there, boy. I'm not fired up there.
They picked the least popular running back out of Georgia. in James Cook, right? And they picked every school they go to get a prominent player is all small schools, all guys that like Boise State, Khalil Shakir came from.
Notre Dame ain't got a conference, so. But anyway, getting back to Steve, we'll play around in a bit. But yeah, Steve, I think what he's saying, Will Johnson or Malachi Starks or is it Dave Barron? Those are the names that come to mind when I think of the best safety.
So I can say that it does seem as though the Bills are showing that they would move up based on things that I've heard. They are showing signs that they would definitely consider moving up. If follow me now, because I can't really give too many details. They would be willing to move up if the player they like is available, past 15. Okay. That doesn't mean that they will do it, because this could all just be smoke. It could be smoke and mirrors. It could be them, trying to, but again, so this is tricky because based on what I know, it's like I know from the inside how much they like certain players.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
you're not saying that's out of the realm of knowledge yet, so you're good.
Right. So that type of information is not something that would be, public for another. You all right in there, bro?
He good. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if he's laughing or crying. But anyway.
Okay. Yeah, so that type of information wouldn't be something that's like largely public for other franchises to see and develop their draft plan off of. So I don't think that what I've been hearing is so much smoke and mirrors as much as it is, genuine. Like, we really like these players, and if they are there past 15, we actually might move up. And then you combine that with, oh, by the way, we got Christian Benford and James Cook if we really needed to move up. I mean, they probably have some of the best move up pieces they've had in a very, very long time.
I saw some earlier that had him going 22nd. I hear that teams are very upset that he's not working out with he didn't work on his pro day. So I saw a national outlet say that he was slipping. So if you're talking about going to even 20 or 15 or whatever the case may be, no, I cannot confirm. If a raccoon is tasty, it's my favorite animal, I will never tell you that.
I can say this. I don't think nephew is going to drop that low. I mean, I just don't think it's going to happen. I really can't see it, but there's other information that would tell me that, it's probably one of the least likely things to happen as well. So, when we're talking about the potential for the Bills to trade up and really secure some big positions of need, I was about to, yeah.
Well done.
I was about to go there again. The Bills have shown that they would rather, fill those positions with the free agents that they have and then let the rookies develop. So, I mean, realistically, what we're looking at in the first round is a complimentary piece anyway. You know what I mean? Like, I think the only reason that what's the receiver we drafted last year? His name is
Coleman.
Yeah, I think the reason Coleman plays is because you didn't have anybody else. You didn't have who you expected to have. You know what I mean? You thought that MVS would come in and take that spot and take the reins and kind of be that leader in the locker room, so to speak. But he couldn't do it. So now you're left with, oh, well, the best guy we got of all these guys is Keon Coleman, and there's this expectation on him because of how high he was drafted. All right, let's put him out there for a few plays. And they did that. But would anybody say that Keon Coleman played a huge role in the offense throughout the rest of the season, even after he got hurt? No. So, you know, there's a part of me that lands on, should we really be like biting our nails or being at the edge of our seats for what's going to happen in the draft to begin with? I don't want to snatch that excitement, but
you did.
I mean, well,
I mean, all over
it's a realistic view, because based on what we've seen in the history of this team, they don't go and get a guy in the first round that they're like, you got to come out and be a superstar for us to be successful.
Now nobody's going to come to the draft show because you've already said there's no point. Thank you so much.
They can just come for you, baby.
Okay. All right. Hey,
just come for
I'll
you.
be there. I'll see y'all there. And yes, Kevin, they traded to get Landon Jackson. I will probably be louder than you. You don't want to see that. I get very emotional with these things. To answer that question though, if I am going to choose between Will Johnson and the safety Malachi Starks, I think I'm leaning towards Malachi. I think I am, only because I put value on that safety position.
Mm-hmm.
I think
that room was full, bro.
Well, I was
that room.
Don't
was
say
full.
that too loud, because you're gonna get a mutiny, because that's Hamlin, Forrest, Bishop, Cam Lewis, Taylor Rapp.
Yeah,
I'm missing somebody. I feel like I'm missing somebody.
Forrest, Hamlin, Taylor Rapp, Bishop,
Cam Lewis,
and Jamarcus Ingram.
Is he a safety now?
I mean, he's played nickel and dime safety.
Yeah, he's fine. We'll do 6. Yeah. But see, I think this defense goes the way to safety. That's all we have. We had 2 good safeties. We had a relatively okay defense. We had no safeties. Our defense stunk. Yeah. So I think that's why I kind of lean towards her. And Beth, you're disgusting.
Wait. I wanted to bring this up too. I saw this. Like,
you've done it too, haven't you?
Yes, I've had chocolate covered grasshoppers.
That don't make it right.
Surprising. I had grasshoppers on cookies, like grass. It was like chocolate chip and grasshopper cookie or whatever, and you can literally see the grasshoppers in like on the cookie, like baked into gross.
It. I think that's weed.
Well, Mrs. Goodrow in kindergarten,
she was getting y'all ready.
She was serving us up some good stuff then, if that was the case.
That was gross.
But it's not that bad.
No, I thought you were going to say, actually, believe it or not, you've had it. Like, no, I'm never eating your house again. Never eating at your house. Not coming. Never coming over again.
Do you remember the mashed potatoes you the crunchy stuff that was in there? That wasn't skin.
Potato stems.
That wasn't skin.
Oh, man.
Oh my gosh. Laura said ill, Beth. Kev said if they trade up for Landon Jackson, I will scream.
Yep. I'm gonna scream with him. Even louder though.
Even louder?
Even louder.
Yeah.
That would kill me. Because Landon Jackson, I don't know if you saw what I thought was a meme video of Landon Jackson when he was doing the bags, when he was lighter. He put on 40 pounds. I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to cancel. I'll just tell you after the show. I was like, I said, and then I realized who it was. I said, "You got to be kidding me!" I said, "Ain't no way, ain't no way." What happened?
Nothing. I'm just, we're getting towards the end of the show. I just want to make sure that the sound is working the way that it was supposed to. Because, the output is what it needs to be too. Okay. I guess I was just wondering why the DK Metcalf sound didn't come through. If we could hear it, they should be able to hear it. But
we want to know if you try Rocky Mountain oyster, which is also known as prairie oysters.
Rocky Mountain oysters. I've never had an oyster in my entire life.
It's not an oyster.
What?
It's not an oyster. It's not an oyster. That's why he's laughing at it, because it's not an oyster.
I don't want to know.
A prairie oyster?
I don't want to know.
It's something you would do as OnlyFans dare. Yeah.
Okay.
It comes off a bull. Let's put it like that.
Nope.
Yep. It's not an oyster.
Nope.
I'm about to set you up.
Nope.
Oh man, see that I like Cecil's reading. Who is it? Steve and Billy D, I believe.
Where? Further up?
I think so. But Steve said when you said that the safety room was full, they said yeah, full of scrubs.
Yeah, Steve. Scrubs.
And Billy D's had bees in Thailand. Now I'm afraid of bees, so I'm not going to be doing that. And the old lady that swallowed a fly. I think we probably all done that, not on purpose though. And Kevin Hurd said that was a room of crap. So yeah, that's trash.
I don't know why she swallowed that fly.
She just didn't have her. She didn't close her. Yeah, Laura knows what it is.
Wait. Reindeer.
You never had that? Oh, well, reindeer.
Santa let you get away with that?
Banged it out.
Like you.
Really? Really?
I was like, wait a second. You can't get away. I couldn't even let you get away with that.
You can let me get away. Banged it out.
No.
Oh my God.
Now I've had deer, but reindeer.
A 5-minute timeout.
How does that work when it's 8:00?
It don't matter.
Yeah. it kind of matters just a little bit. Just a little bit.
5-minute timeout.
So that
takes over.
Like Beth said reindeer is good. Reindeer is good. What it tastes like?
I don't know
what reindeer tastes like. I bet it don't taste like chicken.
If I ever hear any diabolical food animal is gross.
That's not diabolical. It's venison.
It is.
I've had venison before. We just want to know
what else is new. What do you guys eat? Like
Beth, what kind of life do you live?
I've had bison.
Roy had bison. Roy had bison. Beth had
bison.
Bear.
What's next?
Like
a wolf?
You kill like I've only ever known it's venison. Oh, reindeer.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. So that's what I said. See, deer, yeah, venison, yeah. So
okay.
I think we were stuck on one. You eating Rudolph or was it Dancer or Prancer?
Maybe it's just the name reindeer. Like if you had said deer, I'd have been like, all right, you probably got one of those dudes that be hanging out in people's backyard out in East Aurora. Like that, okay, fine. But like you say when you say reindeer, like I'm sorry, I'm automatically thinking of Christmas.
Like, oh man, the sleigh gonna be off center.
Rudolph, like you red nose and all, like you took that dude to the kitchen.
He said reindeer is a caribou high on mushrooms. That's a fact. I believe it somehow.
I ain't never heard somebody say
that is crazy.
Deer, like that's insanity. But I guess that's hunting.
Yeah. Laura said you should not eat bison as a Bills fan. Roy needs to learn that one. That's the first thing I thought when he said he ate bison. I'm like, were you mad at us? Like, what happened?
Yeah.
Beth says we own 150 acres of land out in the sticks, so we've eaten what was killed. I respect it, and I am never coming to visit y'all ever. I respect all of it.
Just put some seasoned salt. Put some of that Tony Shasheras on there. We'd be all right.
Right. All right. We got to get out of here. Anything else before we jump ship?
Nah, I ain't even get a chance to look at my notes. I have a lot more. So tune in for the next show.
I got something I gotta say real quick.
What you gotta say?
So,
is it PG?
Yeah, I know what it is.
Yeah. It's PG, but it's related to the show.
What's that?
He needs some lubrication.
So, what?
Whoa!
Oh,
Bro! What?
Thank you. What's wrong with you?
What you talking about out the gutter? You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Reed's tea, baby.
That ain't what you said.
That's not what you said.
Is it not liquid? This does not lubricate your throat.
I don't
yes,
drink.
It does.
I drink Reed's tea because I don't drink it. I'm not going into a bottle of Reed's tea thinking this is gonna lubricate the mess out of me. Like that's not where my brain is. I should.
Yeah, because you know why?
What kind of stuff is you on,
bro? As I was saying,
it's it's 1 part delicious, 1 part refreshing, 1 part healthy, and 1 part lubrication.
No, that's not on the back of the bottle. That's not what it says.
Damaris, call me. We got to work this bottle out.
We are not. No, we're not putting that in there.
We actually gonna get stuck with a read given to us. He's not gonna let us just freestyle it. Like the way you doing it, you killing our game right now.
Hey, if he don't like the authenticity,
the what?
Authenticity. You got people in the chat saying, "Yo, I want some of that Reed's tea." Right or wrong?
Right,
Yeah, but not after today.
Right,
Like,
but nobody has
who is going to hear?
lubricant.
Who is going to hear lubrication and be like, I need to get some of that?
See, you thinking about it differently, man.
No, bro,
you can't just say it like that, Key.
You got to say it differently.
I was thinking about an oil
it's not
change.
different. You can say anything
See?
but that.
I was thinking about an oil change. I don't know what he was thinking about.
See, that's
I was thinking about
acceptable.
oil change.
That's acceptable.
I don't drink oil though.
Nobody has to. But we drink Reed's tea
Nah,
though.
But
nah,
you
but
said
Key-
lubrication.
But Key,
He
you
took
can't
it
say
too far.
lubricant though, bro. You can't. Nah, you can't say that. You
Let me
can't say
finish
that.
it, Reed.
Oh.
Can I finish my Reed?
No, the read is over, bro.
Reed's
we
over.
gotta
Nah,
get
bro,
out
you're
of
done.
here.
You're not.
Get that Reed's tea.
No, you're good. No,
Case,
cancel.
individual,
cancel,
don't
cancel.
matter. Don't
Nah,
listen to him.
Everybody, don't
Reeds
listen
it
to him.
up.
The
Let's
man
make it
said.
happen.
The man said lubricant.
Oh
Yeah,
my
You
god.
like that word, don't you?
No, I don't actually. I
Why
hate
you
it.
saying it then?
Because the nonsense you just said is
What?
you know what?
Nah.
He's banned.
So when I'm not here the next week, you can just hit me up wherever you want to hit me up.
I like this. Best said, "Food is fuel. Food is food. It's fuel. If you don't like it, you don't have to eat it." Like, look, I've had a lot of weird stuff. Like, I've eaten an ant.
On purpose?
Yeah,
Where were you when you did this?
I just wanted to try it because my mom said in the military they make you do that so you can get used to getting protein wherever you can.
Yeah.
So I was just like, all right. I forgot how old
So
I was
you
when I
mean
did
to tell
it.
me if the world ends, right? The world ends, and the only thing that you can consume is animals and insects.
Well, that's
Nope.
all there's gonna be. Like you seen The Walking Dead, right? Like in The Walking Dead,
No.
there was barely any animals because the
No.
zombies ate them all.
I
So
I
you
wasn't allowed to watch that.
Yeah, and ants are pretty sour. Yeah. That I didn't have ants on a cookie. I have had chocolate covered ants. That I have had. Those are not bad.
Okay, chocolate covered
Yo.
turtles are actually really good.
Chocolate covered what?
A real turtle?
No, like the
You talking about the chocolate with the nuts in it? No.
You know what the pecans?
Yeah. No, we talking about actual ants. This is
actual ants. Oh nah, bro,
Yeah,
you good on
this is
that.
actual ants.
Nah, you good on that. Nah, you good on that.
This is how this
got it,
this
bro.
goes to Lord. Wait, who said this? Lord,
You
yo,
got it.
here we go. Lord said, I agree with Beth. Americans too bougie. Eat what you gotta. That's my son. That's my son. He had to be out there, eating nothing that wasn't on, cooked and on a plate.
I blame you. You the one fed him. You said, son, have a better food. We was outside like, yo, what's this? Taste
I would
like?
much rather have
Right.
a better food than that. What you mean?
You think? But when we're out there, we were eating Kool-Aid out the pack. You know what that does to your brain?
Fam,
You know-
you know, right here so I can stare, but just be like,
We gonna
Bro.
have the bougiest of all bougie conversations next week. You know what we gonna do? We
What?
gonna do
Oh my
top
God.
10 bodega foods.
Ooh.
Yeah.
this is not
Top
New York
10
City.
bodega foods. We gonna
This is
go
not
as
New York
far
City.
back as we need to go back to.
This
I
is
want to
not
do
New York
that.
City.
Top 10 bodega foods.
Yo, this is going to turn into a thing. They're going to get another non-Bills podcast from us. I feel it's coming. Once we get this off the ground, they're going to get something that they're like, yo, what's
But
this
it's
about?
interesting though.
I like it.
I love
I like being goofy.
Yeah, no doubt. Steve says they sell edible covered ants in South America. It's supposed to be natural Viagra. Ooh, for real?
Man,
Man.
too excited about that.
That's what I'm saying.
I know.
Hold on now.
I can't like sexual activity.
Why you get so excited about it though?
What's wrong with that?
You like, wait, hold on real quick. Let me
He said, "Oh, let me just."
hold on. Oh my god, it's only $15. Man, let me get this real
Like
quick.
I get to eat some chocolate covered ants, and they like it tastes. It. I'm sure. I've never had the blue pill, but I'm sure it tastes better than the blue pill. Like it's chocolate.
How would you know?
Like why wouldn't I enjoy eating
Nah,
chocolate
Key.
that also puts a smile on my wife's face?
How would he know?
There you go.
How would he know?
I know what chocolate tastes like.
No, not that. No, you said the blue pill. How would you know?
He said he never had it.
Yeah, I said I've
Yeah.
never had it.
Never
So
had
it.
I couldn't
Okay.
tell you if it tastes bad or not.
Yeah.
But
Okay, just make sure.
He said,
Yeah, you're safe, all right.
"He's safe."
Snap. Oh, snap. Oh, no, not that one. Billy, he said, I'm good eating whatever.
Yep.
Oh, my gosh. I love
I'm
it.
not surprised.
I love
It's
it.
the family. Once you
Yeah.
win, you win.
That's it. That's
So
it.
if you watch this show, you win. Sorry,
You can't leave.
you can't leave.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, yeah, you definitely can't leave. It's over with.
But smash that like button, man. Smash that like button. Tell us
If
that
you
you appreciate
don't,
what we're doing.
You will get hunted. By me.
All right. Let's get to it. Hopefully this ain't too loud. I might have to turn this down a little bit. Let me see here. Let's get it down right about there.
When you add a little bit of a Introduction
right.
for the producer too.
There we go. That's pretty good. I can hear me. All right, look, we got to get out of here. I'm sure there's other shows starting on the network, and we don't want to get in their way. So let's do this. If you could, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, make that thing
Ring-a-ling-a-ling.
so you can get notifications when we send notifications. Like we have confirmed in this show here today, we will be doing a live draft show, so make sure you tune in for that. For those of you that don't follow us on YouTube, the link is in the description of this video. If you are on Buffalo fan base watching us right now, you can easily just click right on the little Post Podium Pod link that's in there. That'll take you right to our Twitter. From there, you can get to our YouTube, or you can just go into YouTube and search at the Post Podium Podcast, however you want. Please check us out. I'm sure you will love some of our other content that we got up there. We got shorts, we got film review, we got all kinds of stuff. Also, memberships are live. We started the Discord chat. So when you get into our membership, you will get a link for the Discord chat that gives you 24/7 access to us to ask questions, to make comments, just general tomfoolery, whatever you want.
As you see right here.
Yeah, right. This is what we do. This is what it's about. So, with that being said, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Make sure you check us out Mondays, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are going back to Fridays in April. Right.
They're coming back, baby.
Yeah, right. So we're going to be doing, we're going, so in April, we'll be doing Mondays and Fridays, which is what we usually do. Both days, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live here on YouTube, our Twitter, and Buffalo Fan Base, the only network that matters. That might be the new tagline I pitch them, but
the only network that matters.
Right, exactly. So, love y'all. See y'all next week, or maybe if some other great news comes out, I might try to hop on and do some coverage and stuff like that.
You can always find us on our social
the whole
media.
Week. Yeah,
it sucks, but you can find us on social media. Let us know what's going on, what's on your mind, what you want to see. If you want to see anybody else profile on our page, let me know. I'll do it for you. Don't worry about it.
You've been doing great with that too. A lot of people have been hitting us up. What do you think about this? This player.
That.
So, all right, this has been Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I have been your co-host, Aramis.
It's 40 Keys.
This is a producer.
Oh, snap. Producer inserting himself. I love it. All right.
They calling me Ayo producer.
Ayo producer.
Ayo
That actually makes sense. I like that.
Ayo producer. All right. I love it. Aramis 40 Keys and Ayo producer. Y'all have a great night now. See y'all next week.
See ya.